Stephen Smith. I'm with Christian Leadership Partners. And for the last 25 days, we've been doing a coaching session. These coaching sessions are absolutely free and they only take about 10 minutes out of your day. And I do encourage you to use these tools to become your best you. Now, we provide several things for you. And in fact, if you look down in the comment section below, you can actually download a copy of our goal worksheet. This goal worksheet will enable you to be able to write out your goals, to be able to understand them better, and actually to be able to see the different things that we're pointing out to you from the book of Proverbs. In fact, Proverbs 25 is something that's quite unique. What it is it's actually a compilation of the Proverbs that King Hezekiah found to be important to him. You know, Hezekiah went through the temple and he cleaned it out, and he found that there was a law that the people of Israel were not following. And in fact, he started following it, and he started implementing the things that King Solomon had pointed out in his Proverbs. And what he found was that he could be successful. And in fact, he became so successful that he was a more successful king than even King Solomon was, even more successful than King David. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that I can take the things that King Solomon gave me when he wrote Proverbs and start implementing them into our lives. And that's why we're using them during these coaching sessions. And in fact, if this is the first video that you've seen, I really do encourage you to go back to the very first video. And if you do that, you're going to see that we went through and we've actually developed our goals. And then as we process through the understanding and the development of our goal process, we've also begin a strategic plan to implement those goals. And we've actually gone to the point now where we're actually executing those goals. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we continue on where we were yesterday. And in fact, yesterday we began our quantum steps. In other words, we wanted to take the smallest step possible that would produce the greatest results. A good example of this is when T-Mobile bought Sprint. They automatically doubled the number of their customers, the number of their sales stores, and all of their inventory by doing that one move. So what we want to do is we want to identify those things that we can do to be just as successful, and that little step that makes that huge difference in our lives. So that's what we want to do. Now, in continuation with that, I want to encourage you today. Now, I want you to know that if God sees that you can do these things, and if he's put this desire in your hearts, God believes that you can do it. And if God believes that you can do it, I believe that you can do it as well. And in fact, if you've gone all the way through all 25 of these coaching sessions, you're absolutely on track to become successful. And I know that you can use these tools that I provided you and the gifts that God has given to you so you can achieve all of those goals. So what we want to do is we want to be able to move forward in these things so that we can accomplish all the things that the Lord has put onto your heart. Now let's take a little bit of a look at Proverbs chapter 25. Proverbs 25, 11 and 12 tells us that timely advice is lovely, like golden apples in a silver basket. To one who listens, valid criticism is like a gold earring or other gold jewelry. Look at the way that says that. If people are criticizing you, don't take it as criticism, take it as an opportunity to improve. You know, people in most instances aren't out there to make you feel bad or make you feel horrible. They're just trying to help. So if we see people as trying to help us rather than to harm us, then we can take their criticism and we can turn it around and say, you know what, I'm going to be even better at that than what it seems. So why not take that initial step and start doing that? Again, Proverbs chapter 25 gives us several different things that we can take a look at. And let's just look at some of the bullet comments that we can actually extract from that. I encourage you to find something valuable out of Proverbs 25 today. And it may not be something that I point out. It may be something that the Lord reveals to you. Why not share that down in the comments or share that with your friends? Use this book of Proverbs to be your most successful you. So let's take a look at some of these things that Proverbs 25 provides us. Proverbs chapter 25, as I said, were discovered and implemented by King Hezekiah, and it made all the difference in his life. We also learn in Proverbs 25 that we should trust God, that he will direct the minds of not only us, but also our leaders. We want to make sure that we can remove the dross from the situation or remove the garbage from what's there so that we can absolutely have a perfect situation. We don't want to be in a hurry to prove a point. We also want to make sure that we pause long enough for wisdom to make its point in our lives. We want to be the messenger who brings good news rather than bad news. We also learn in Proverbs 25 that we want to watch what we eat, that we bless our enemies, just like what Jesus said in his teaching. And then the last thing that we want to do is we want to also make sure that we understand the value of self-control in everything that we do. If I can do this, then I know that I can implement a lot of the things that King Solomon and King Hezekiah actually encouraged us to do by giving us this particular proverb. So let's take a look at Proverbs chapter 25 and see how it changes things in our lives. These are more proverbs of King Solomon, collected by the advisors of King Hezekiah of Judah. It is the God's privilege to conceal things and the king's privilege to discover them. No one can comprehend the height of heaven or the depths of the earth, or all that goes on in the king's mind. Remove the impurities from silver, and the sterling will be ready for the silversmith. Remove the wicked from the king's court, and his reign will be made secure by justice. Don't demand an audience with the king or push for a place among the great. It's better to wait for an invitation to the head table than to be sent away in public disgrace. Just because you've seen something, don't be in a hurry to go to court. For what will you do in the end if your neighbor deals you a shameful defeat? When arguing with your neighbor, don't betray another person's secret confidence. Others may accuse you of gossip, and you will never regain your good reputation. Timely advice is lovely, like golden apples in a silver basket. To one who listens, valid criticism is like a gold earring or other gold jewelry. Trustworthy messengers refresh like snow in the summer. They revive the spirit of their employer. A person who promises a gift but doesn't give it is like clouds and wind that bring no rain. Patience can persuade a prince, and soft speech can break bones. Do you like honey? Don't eat too much of it, or it will make you sick. Don't visit your neighbor too often, or you will wear out your welcome. Telling lies about others is as harmful as hitting them with an axe, wounding them with a sword, or shooting them with a sharp arrow. Putting confidence in an unreliable person in times of trouble is like chewing with a broken tooth, or walking on a lame foot. Singing cheerful songs to a person with a heavy heart is like taking someone's coat in cold weather or pouring vinegar in a wound. If your enemies are hungry, give them food to eat. If they are thirsty, give them water to drink. You will heap burning coals of shame on their head, and the Lord will reward you. As surely as the north wind brings rain, and so a gossiping tongue causes anger. It's better to live alone in the corner of an attic than with a quarrelsome wife in a lovely home. Good news from far away is like cold water to the thirsty. If the godly give in to the wicked, it's like polluting a fountain or muddying a spring. It's not good to eat too much honey, and it's not good to seek honors for yourself. A person without self-control is like a city with broken down walls. So the value of Proverbs gives us several different things that we can look at. Most importantly, what we want to make sure is that we stand by our moral compass. This is one of the most important things that we can do as leaders and as valuable members in our society. Proverbs 25:26 tells us, if the godly give in to the wicked, it's like polluting a fountain or muddying a spring. Your vision and your desires and your goals can actually be disturbed by the evil that people try and put into your lives. So don't listen to it. Don't let it influence you. We want to make sure that we take this valuable advice and we apply it to ourselves in everything that we do. Remember, you can do this. And in fact, I encourage you to go out and to do it. Let me give you 3 things where I really encourage you to be more successful in. You know, we went out and we've taken that step. We're going out and we're executing our plan. We're executing the goals that we have. The first thing that I want to encourage you to do is not to hesitate. For if you put things off for 3 days, it could end up turning into 3 weeks, turning into 3 years, and even into 3 decades. And before you know it, you'll be 85 years old wondering where your life went. So don't hesitate. Go out and do it immediately. Go out and do things now because you've been called to do it. Why not have the success and the belief that you can do it? I also encourage you to be consistent. Be consistent in everything that you do. Be consistent in being honest, being consistent in living morally, be consistent in the things that you say and the things that you do. Because the people that are following you are looking for consistency. The people that are leading you are looking for your consistency in the things that they tell you to do. So be consistent in every single decision and every single thing that you're able to do. And the last thing that I want to encourage you to do is to believe. You know, God believes that you can do it because He's given you these gifts and He's given you these talents. He's given you this desire to do these things to please Him. I believe that you can do it because you're on day 25 of this coaching session. And if you've gotten this far, I really believe that you can go the next step and finish all of these things together. And lastly, I want you to believe that you can do it. If God can believe you, if I can believe you, then you should believe yourself. Believe in the confidence and the power and the strength that God has given you to succeed in everything that you set your hands to. And then you'll be a miracle going someplace to happen.